What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will show you guys how to do 2-point track effect here in Blender. For this tutorial I thought of doing the effect that was done in a movie called In Time, and this is a really cool movie and I love the effect they did inside it, so I thought of doing it for you guys so you will learn a lot about this and you will learn some cool stuff if you haven't know that it exists in Blender, and I will share with you guys how this is done. Alright, without further ado, now let's get started. So first thing I do now is to go to VFX workspace. So to do this, click on this plus sign, come to VFX, then choose motion tracking. Alright, now we need to import our footage, so click on open, go to your movie directory. I'm using this, let's drag into the workspace, then just press open click. Now for this I'm using a movie clip, not an image sequence this time. So set scene frame to catch all this scene into frame, and before I set it to prefetch, I want to set the starting frame and the ending in this timeline. So I'm starting from frame 202. So and the end should be frame 305. Alright, then I will just cache this. Just click on prefetch to cache this into memory. Alright, now so when you open up your scene in Blender, so first thing I do now is to change the color space. Just go here, come down to color management. Now click on view transform, change it from filmic to standard. Alright, now you see that the color space changed. Alright, so we want to start tracking. So let's play this footage to see what we have here. Now you can see that we have some two markers on my hand that I placed on my hand. So with these two markers we can track these two and get a 2-point track. Alright, so first thing I do now is to set this tracking settings here. So I want to click on normalize and also change this from keyframe to previous frame, and I want to change the motion mode to perspective so I can get a better track in this. Alright, okay, so to add a track, just control then click. Now you can resize it by dragging, or you can press S and scale up also. So we need a search bar. To bring up the search bar, click on clip display here. Now turn on the search. Alright, so you can also adjust this search independently and also adjust this also. So to begin tracking, and you can see that this is in the middle. So to begin tracking, you can just click here to track a single scene. I prefer tracking this frame by frame because I will monitor the track whether it's doing bad or not. So I prefer tracking, but you can also do the sequence track. So you can click here, then Blender will do all this stuff for you. And as you can see that this track lost, so let's check whether this was really well tracked. And to my own view, I can see that this is really good track. It tried. So let me just track the remaining scene frame by frame. So I'll just track this frame by frame. So just clean it up like so. Alright, so let me track the remaining scene and I will get back to you when I'm done. Alright guys, I'm done doing the track, and the next thing to do is to reconstruct this. So to do this we need to use the reconstruction here. Just select the both tracks, press A to select all the two tracks. Now click on reconstruction and come down to link empty to track. So when you click on this, you will see we have some empty that represent the position and the animation of this track here. So when you scroll through, you see that this empty moves, it corresponds to this track here. Alright, now let's come back to layout. Okay, now we are in layout and we have a default cube as usual, so we don't need this. Just delete this, and we need to import our scene we are using, and we are using image sequence for this. This is the image sequence I'm using. I will put the link for this in the description below so that you guys can get this. Alright. Okay, now to import this, we need to import this as a plane. So we need to choose this as image as plane. So if you don't have this image as plane features, just go to up here. Just go to preferences here, add on, just type image. Now you see image as plane, just tick that and save this. Alright, and to do this, okay, when you've done that, now to import this thing as image, just press Shift A, come down to image, now select image as plane. Alright, now scroll to your footage and select all your image. So I'll just drag this into the workspace like so. I will press A to select all, then click on animate image sequence. So you need to turn on this animate image sequence and import image as plane. Alright, so we all have all our animation here in this small plane that represents the position of this. So when you go back to rendered like so, we are not seeing anything right now because we need to go back to shading. Just come to shading. Alright, in this shading we have a setup of shaders for us, which is a principal shader, and we don't need this principal shader, so I will delete this. Alright, I will just drag this back to the surface input. Now we have something here, as you can see. Okay, now click on recycle and come back to the layout. Alright, now this is the layout. We need to match this to my hand. So to do this, first of all, to click on the camera, go to the camera, turn on background, then add image. Select movie clip, then choose your movie clip as the background. Okay, now we have the movie clip, and when you scroll through, you see that this empty that represents the track works well, and this is a good representation of what we are doing. And we have the plane here. This is the plane, and you can see that it distorts wrongly and it's not perfect. We need to drag it and match it to the position of my hand. What I will first to do now is to rotate this. Okay, for me to just go back to the solid view, which is the object. So I'll just click here. Now I will rotate this with R, Y, and 90, then enter. Alright, to rotate on the Y axis. So I will just add a bone to this. First of all, to set this to an object. Now press Shift A, go to armature, then select it. Now we have a single bone here. We need to rotate it to the Y axis also. R, Y, then 90. Then we need to rotate R, Z, 90. Alright, so I will scale this up by pressing S to scale up, drag it, and scale up, drag it. So it is alright like this. So we need to rotate both. Okay, so the first thing I will do now is to parent this with the bone. Alright, so before I did this, I need to make sure I have an hook to this. Okay, just press tab to go to the edit mode. Now go to the wireframe so that we can see more better. I need to select this part and press Alt and press H. Now select hook to new object. Press this. Now we have an empty for this. Alright, so the other we need to also select all this place. Okay, now press Alt H again. Now select new to new object. Okay, now we have an hook which corresponds to this, and when you rotate this, it's moved this object. You can see when I rotate it, it moved the object, and this also is moved the object. Alright, now we need to hook this with this empty that we got from the track. Okay, let me just resize this, scale it down so that we can differentiate between this and the hook. Okay, now we have a big empty for the hook and small for the tracks. Okay, first I will just parent this with this. So to do this, we need to select this with this empty here. Click on this. Now press Shift S and cursor to selected. Now when you select the hook and press Shift S again, now select selection to cursor. By doing that, we select the selection down to the cursor and it matches the position of the hook. Alright, now we need to do this to the second track. Okay, select the second track, press Shift S, now cursor to selected and click on the hook, press Shift S again, now select selection to cursor. Alright, by doing this we have the hook here. So when you press 0 to the camera view, now we have this, and when you go to the render, now we have the text on my hand and we need to resize and adjust. Okay, now so the next thing is to parent this hook with the track. So select the empty, then select the hook, select the empty, then select the track. Now press Ctrl then P to parent it, select object, press Ctrl P, then you can choose object and keep transform because we still animate this. Alright, now select the hook, then Ctrl Shift and select the track. Now press Ctrl P, now press object and keep transform. So when you go to the camera view by pressing 0, let's choose render here. Now you can see that this move along with the end. Okay, now you can see that this is not really working fine, and the placement of this, the perspective of this text here is not matched with the perspective of my hand. So we need to arrange and rotate this perfectly first. Okay, so before we do that, we need to parent this bone right there, the armature with this. So we need to change this from bone. You can change it, so or you can leave it like this. So I want to change it. Viewport, I want to change this to stick. Okay. Now I need to click on this hook. Click on both hook, then select this bone. Click on the hook, then the bone. Let me go to solid view. Select the bone. Now press Ctrl P, then choose bone. Alright, so when you go to post mode, now you can animate this. So before we did that, let's click on this hook first. Go to 0 to go to camera view. Now go to preview so we can see what we are doing. Let's scale this up. Alright, scale this up, then rotate it by R, then Y. Okay, just adjust this S and Y. Okay, just to make sure this fits and don't make it too big. Alright, so I'll just rotate it R, X, R, Z, just to make this perfect. Okay, now this is alright. But this, now click on the bone, go to object, now select post mode. Now when you click on this, now you can animate this G. You can see that it moves along. So it is very good to have this in place before we do the animation. Guys, now let's start animating this. So we need to go to preview so that we can see what we are doing. Okay, the reason why I want to animate this is because most of the time we only get the location of this track and we don't have the rotation and full control of this. So we need to animate it so that we can adjust this according to our view so that we can get a better result. Okay, so let's keep on doing this. Press G, then select. Now we can have to animate this, just click on this auto record. So anytime we move this pose, we have an keyframe for this anytime we do it. Okay, now let's drag this R, then Z, so that we can move this perfect. Okay, now let's keep on, and now we can see that we have a key here. So drag this. Now we can animate this also. Drag, press R, then Y to rotate it to the Y like so. So R, Z will make it come back to this angle. Now I'll just drag it back. Yeah. Okay, now let's keep on tracking on this. R, Z to rotate like so. Now RY to rotate to the angle, RZ to rotate it back. Now just drag it back to the position. So you just have to be patient with this and make sure you do it to be precise. For this I'm doing a rough job for the sake of the tutorial. Okay. As you can see that most of the work the track has done it for us, so we only need to refine this. Okay. You press S to scale down, drag it there, so the final story. RZ to rotate like so, and drag it back to the view. Alright, this is done. So it should remain the only frame. So let me quickly do this and I will get back to you when I'm done. Alright, now I am done doing this, and when I play this for you, you see that it's stick and it's a rough job, but I think it's be okay for this. Alright, so this is done and we need to go to the compositing and do the compositing. And the compositing is not really complicated, but it needs more understanding. Alright, so when you let's render this a single frame. When you render, just render an image like so. Now we have this, and this is the image we rendered, and it has no transparent background, as you can see. So we need to make sure this is a transparent. So go to the render settings here, come down and choose film, open the tab, then click on transparent. Alright, now when you re-render this again, now we have transparent background. Okay, now come to the compositing. Okay, drag this down. So for this, let me choose a better frame to do this. To start with, let me choose 250 here and render this. Alright, so come to animation, go to the composite. Alright, now click on use nodes. Okay, now we need to input an alpha over for this. Press shift A, go to color, then select alpha over, put it here. Now we need a viewer node to view our sequence. Press shift A again, go to the output, then select a viewer node. Alright, now drag this to this image here. Now you can see a white background. Now when you press V, just keep the V. Now you can scale down, and to scale up, press Alt and click on V. Now scale up. Alright, so we need our movie clip. Press shift A, go to input, now select a movie clip. Okay, drag this up and let the image come down. Okay, select here and choose our movie as the background. Now you can see that we have a movie clip here, and you can see that this is a plain background here, and this happens because this image right here is not an alpha. It doesn't have an alpha channel for this, and when you check the alpha channel here, this is the alpha. You see that it's very big and we don't have the alpha. So because of this is an alpha already itself, this is a black and white image and it's an alpha when you look at it. So for this, we don't really need an alpha for this, so we can use this same image as an alpha. So what I mean is that when you drag this to the factor, now we have an alpha. It's very simple like that. Okay, for this we don't need, for this we need to make this to intersect with my hand. So, and to do this we need to adjust this first. Okay, now let's delete this alpha over. Now start with shift A, go to color, then select a mix node. Alright, drag it here. Now let's do the composite like we did before. This one up and this one come down. Alright, so let's wait for this to load, and we have only black background is appearing here. Alright, click on the mix and choose overlay. Alright, now this is overlay and this is how it looks. It's very horrible, right? So we need to drag this as an alpha, just plug it here in the factor. Alright, now everything back to normal, and you can see that when you zoom in, you can see that this image intersects and it looks like it's really written on my hand, and we need to add some few shading here. Now we need to color this. Press Shift A, go to color balance. Now drag it here to the down socket here. Alright, now give it an color. Let's give this some color. Alright, let this load, and you can see that we have some color in this, and we need to make sure this is very bright enough for this because it's not really bright right now. Now to do this, press Shift A, go to color and choose a hue saturation value, drop that here and increase the value. Alright, now you can see that this is really coming up, so we can duplicate this. Shift D to duplicate, then drop it here. Now as you duplicate this, the value will increase. Alright, now let's drag this up a little. Okay, now we need to boost this. Alright, so press Shift A, go to color, choose alpha over this time. Now drag this here. Okay, so for this, drag this down. Okay, for us to have some glow in this, so we need to make sure we have some glow. So when you just press Shift A, go to filter and select glare. Shift A, filter, select the glare node. When you drag it here and choose a foreglow, alright, now you can see that we have some glue, but we really don't have a better glue going on here, and we all need a better glue, so we have to do this manually. Alright, so we need to do this manually, and we don't need this glue. Just delete it and input this back to the down socket here. So we need to pick the socket from here. Okay, and press Shift A, go to filter and choose the blur node, drop it here. Now pick the connection from here to here and put it in this up down here, and this should be up and this should be down. Alright, and you can see that we still have this thing going on here, so we need to drag this. Okay, so what we need to do now is to blur this. Alright, so give this like 100 because we need to blur it very well. Alright, this is well blurred, so we don't need this alpha over because it's not really important this time, so we delete it. So instead of deleting it, I'll just keep it aside and choose a Shift A, go to color, then choose a mix node again, drop that here. Now put this here, so bring this down. Okay, now we already have this black and the blood, so just change it from mix to screen. Click on screen. Now we have the glue, and you can check when you zoom in, you can see that we have some glue in this, and we can really boost the color of the glue like we did here. So duplicate this again, Shift D, then drop this here. Alright, now we have a better glue. You can see that this is really cool and it's very quick, and I think it is better to make glue than the other way. Alright, so you can drag this factor so that we can have less glue because this is the glue is too much on this. Alright, now we can adjust our image. Now let me just correct this color. Now press Shift A, go to color and choose color correction. Now I need to drop down this gamma here. Alright, so you can see that the color is well balanced now. Okay, now let me choose an half, Shift A, go to color balance again. Now I can give this some nice color. Alright, so we can saturate this by doing color correction again. Go to Shift A, color, then choose color correction, drop that before the color balance. Now you need to increase all this master tone saturation, just increase it little. By doing this, you see that the color will really pop up. Alright, and this is looking nice. So you can see that the glow is too much, so I can really just reduce it again. And I can increase the brightness with duplicating this. Alright, so this is how to do. Okay, now that is done, and let's render another frame so that we can see what we have. So I will choose something like here, somewhere here. Alright, so I'll just render image. Okay, let this load. Alright, and you can see that this text is not really going inside, and we need to mask out this hand. And to do this, you need to come back to motion tracking, drag this. Okay, we need to hide this track for now. Press H and hide them. We already used them, so we don't need them anymore. You can delete them if you want, but I'll just hide them. Alright, so press tab to come to mask mode. If you don't press tab, you won't see the mask. So press tab and go to mask. Click on new to add a new mask. Cool. We need to draw a mask. To draw a mask, just press Ctrl, then start clicking. It's very simple like that. You can Ctrl, then drag, 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 drag. That's how to draw a mask in Blender. So to close this, press Alt C to close the track. So we already have this mask here, so it's really rough because of the tutorial, so you can make it more precise. Alright, so we have this mask, and you can name this hand. Okay, now to use this mask, go to the compositing. Now we need an alpha over in this section right here. So press Shift A, go to color, then select an alpha over. Alright, so we need to input this footage from here. Drag this near so that we can adjust this properly. Now drag this up and let the overall composite come down. Alright, right now you are not seeing anything, so press Shift A, go to input, select mask. Alright, now click on the mask here and choose our hand. We just rotate out. Now click the factor and put it in this factor here. Let's wait for that to load. Now you can see that all this gone, and we only have this beside here. So to do this, we can invert this mask. Press Shift A, go to color, then select an invert node. Invert, put this here. Alright, now you can see that we have this mask, and you can see that the edge is not smooth right here, so we need to use a blur node to smooth this out. Just Shift A, go to filter, then select the blur, drop that here, change it to fast Gaussian. Now you can increase this by 3 in both X and Y, 3, so we have a better solve in this part. Okay, that is that about this tutorial, and for you to able to get the same mask, you need to animate this mask, and I have already do a tutorial on that, so you need to check that out and do it. And this is how to do the effect, and I hope you really learn a lot from this, and this is how to do this. So thanks for watching guys, and I will see you in my next video.